Hello and welcome to this edition of Eat Right with Rouses. I'm your host, Keith Weissite. Thanks so much for joining us as we welcome in our favorite dietitian from Rouses, April Sins. Hi, April. How are you?
I'm doing great, Keith. How are you doing?
I am very, very well. Thank you. I am excited because I always love to hear when we can spruce up some of our favorite meals that you're going to make a little bit better with adding fruits and vegetables. Tell us how we're going to do that.
Yes, so we're going to take some of our favorite BLTs, a lot of us like those,
Right.
and a grilled cheese. So just some really easy solutions to some things that we commonly like and enjoy. And in fact, you might want to call some of these comfort foods. So a lot of these, like the grilled cheese, that's something that I grew up on. It's when you're looking for something to eat, and it's like a good go-to. But how can we spruce it up? How can we increase the nutrition in these common little meals? So that's what we're going to be doing. And we're going to talk about what we can add to our grilled cheese. Now,
Okay.
I want you to think kind of like outside of the box of just the plain grilled cheese and the bread. What can we add to it? So a great pairing, if you think about a charcuterie board, when you have cheeses, you will also have some fruit. So you'll have apples, you'll have berries, and those types of things. Those things pair well with the cheese. So that's actually what we did with our with the grilled cheese. Is I have some blackberries right here that are washed and ready to go, and I made a blackberry grilled cheese. Another thing you can add is some grilled apples. I recommend to grill the apples before you prepare it, and not just put the fresh apple on it, because just to have it a little bit softer and kind of blend with the cheese a little bit better. But it really makes a nice meal. And what I paired it with is some whole grain bread.
Right.
And what I love about whole grain bread is that is going to help us feel fuller because of the fiber in the bread. Now, if you're watching your carbs, you don't want to have the full sandwich, make it a half sandwich, make it a shareable, and pair it with a salad or a soup or something like that. Totally fine. Or you can go to Rouses and you can find some great low-carb breads as well. But I do love the fiber content on the whole grain because it's just a little bit more of that satiety factor, that feeling of fullness after we're finished. In addition to the fruit that we're adding on top. So we're adding some great vitamins and nutrients in there, combined with the cheese, any cheese. But whenever you add in that fruit, you don't have to add as much cheese. You're going to have more volume in the sandwich. Sandwich is going to make you feel more full. Wow. The next thing we're going to talk about is one of my favorites is a BLT. It's so simple and delicious, and it's something that's just kind of a quick go-to meal. Right. But how can we make it a little bit better for us? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some turkey bacon. Now you can see the package is empty because I did use it to make this.
Right.
But what we're going to be making is a turkey bacon BLT. You can find that in the Rouses brand, and I actually cooked it in my air fryer. Comes out really great, and it's all meat. It's very low in fat, and so you don't have a lot of the grease drippings and things that you would have on regular bacon. But you can cook this in the air fryer and have it just as crispy. And if you don't have an air fryer, put it in the oven and then cook it to your crispness. Now, I have that same whole grain bread right here. I topped it with a little bit of mayonnaise. Not a lot, but I'm going to tell you, if you put some Dijon mustard on top, very low in calories, adds a lot of flavor, and you don't need as much mayonnaise. And then another thing we're going to put on top is, instead of just regular lettuce, I'm going to add spinach. Oh. Spinach has that deep green flavor in there. It also has a little bit more dense nutrition. Nothing's wrong with regular lettuce, but the spinach is going to add a little bit more nutritional denseness to it. I also have some fresh sliced tomatoes. Of course, we have to have that on our BLT. But I also have some avocado. And I have, I'm going to put some avocado in there. And that way, that's going to add a nice flavor, texture as well. And it has those good fats in there that are great as well to add in here and there. So there you have your BLT with your turkey bacon, your spinach, your tomatoes, and your avocado. And that's a really good filling sandwich right there. And like I said before, you can always pair it with something else, pair it with some more veggies or fruit. And it's just a great way to kind of boost up the nutrition in one of our simple, easy favorites that we love.
Yeah, and you talk about going back to the first one with the cheese sandwich. It's so very easy to kind of just make a few changes. I will tell you, lately, my wife and I are using that same recommendation with some fruit on the side, but we're splitting the sandwich because we're using the wheat bread. And it helps. That very high fiber, love going to Rouses and getting the Dave's bread because it makes a difference for us.
Yep.
But we can't eat the whole sandwich. And that way we're having
it's great.
the fruit with it. So we're having some fruit
shareable.
and snacks. Right.
Yeah, it's shareable and easy to make, and it's just a simple go-to. And another thing, too, is you can call it a loaded sandwich, okay? So every time we hear the term loaded, we think, oh, wow, we're getting so much more on that sandwich.
Right.
We're loading it with vegetables. You could call it a loaded grilled cheese. We're loading it with some fruit. And just that term, because we always think about loaded baked potato or something, it's so filled with everything. Think about adding some fruit and vegetables to those items and just loading it with it. And then that way you have a nice, like a loaded BLT, loaded with nutrition.
Well, as always, as soon as we finish, I'm loaded with feeling more hungry and in a healthy way. And so, April, we appreciate your time as always. Thank you for the ingenuity of thinking outside the box, or as today it would be outside of the sandwich. Thanks for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Keith.
All right, and that will do it for this particular edition of Eat Right with Rouses. Don't go anywhere. A lot more local programming right here on HTV.